Hey guys, it's Morgan coming to you from Highland Cycles with another problem motorcycle. This one. It's a 2010 KX450. Customer rebuilt the top end about a year ago, maybe 8 months ago. Anyway, ran good for a while. We put valves in the head for him. He just brought us a head. We put valves in it, had him cut, seats cut, all that stuff. Anyway, bike ran good for a few months. Everything was good. Then all of a sudden it started dying when it was warm, and it got worse and worse. And now supposedly it starts, maybe, but after running for just a short amount of time it dies and then it won't restart. Comment below your guesses right now before we don't cheat and go to the end, because we're going to diagnose this thing and figure out what's wrong. But go ahead and put your comments below on what you think it is. I know what I think it probably is based on just that description. But we're going to start with verifying the problem, right? Because that's what you got to do every time you got a weird problem, especially if it's not your bike and you haven't been riding it. Someone brings you a bike or a buddy has a bike and they say, oh, this is probably, verify the problem. Make sure it's actually doing what they say it's doing. So let's see if we can get this thing started and then see what happens. So we're all clear. This is a fuel injected bike, if you didn't know. It's also leaking a ton of oil. Like there. And then also on the other side, so we got to sort that out too. But first, we're going to figure out why it doesn't run. And quick thing for all of you guys who are working on bikes again that are not yours, always check to make sure there's oil in it, especially if you see an oil leak like this, because you know you'd hate to get it running and have it lock up on you because there's no oil. Partially because it's really hard to prove that to someone if you're like a shop or something like that. Also, your buddy, you just don't want to be that guy. So there is oil in it. Nothing. Alright. So it feels like it's got decent compression, and it's hard to really verify without a compression gauge and like a leak content. But anyway, kicking it, you can tell if it's like super low. Well, it's not super low. Let's just assume we have compression because, like I said, it feels like it doesn't feel like friction. It feels like compression. But so let's assume we have that. The other three things we need are fuel, air, and spark. So it's got gas in it. It's fuel injected, so we don't know if it's squirting yet. But the easiest next thing to check is the spark. So we'll take the tank off, seat off, and pull the spark plug out, kick it, and see if we can't see any spark. Air filter actually looks pretty good. Interesting development. So, as I was getting ready to pull the spark plug out, something happened. That goes in there. And it was in there, but it's about like that, and I went to pull on it, and I grabbed and it, yeah. That very well could be all of the problem. It doesn't look like anything's been screwed in there in a long time. So, I'm going to pull this out, screw it in, and then try it real fast. See if I can show you how this works. So, down inside there that you can't see is a little screw coming out, and that screw has to go inside the wire. Because the wire, the main part of that black thing is insulation. There's just wire inside there. So you got to screw that screw into the actual wire. Let me see if I can get a good angle for you. When I have a thing like this, I always like to clip this wire back just a little bit, get some fresh wire. You don't have to do much. So you push it in there, and then you're going to screw it onto that wire. And that little screw that's down inside there will screw into the actual copper part of the wire, make a good connection. I'm just going to do that, and I'm going to kick it and see if anything happens. It may not do anything because it doesn't have a tank on it, but we're going to try it anyway real fast. I'm going to plug the tank back in real fast, just. Throw the shot. Then I'm gonna check the spark. Okay, we're gonna kick it and see what happens. I don't know about you guys, but I don't see anything happening there. Let's try it up here. No spark equals no run. That was my guess. Now, I also have a guess as to why it's not sparking. Comment below if you want to just take a stab at it, but I think I know why. And I don't even think I need a multimeter for it. Well, it's not obvious yet, but I was kind of hoping to see a bunch of burnt stuff in there, but I don't. But I'm guessing, still got a pretty good guess. It's this guy right here that's causing the no sparky, but we're gonna find out. That, by the way, is called the pulsar coil or crank position sensor if you're a car guy. We're gonna test the resistance between those two wires and see what we get. I just looked it up online, and it should have like 180-ish ohms, something like that. Like 150 to 2 something. Anyway, whatever. So we're going to check resistance, see what that is, and see where we need to go from there. All right, so it's 230. I'm going to check that spec again and see if that's way out of range. All right, so the pickup coil actually tests out. The stator tests out, you know, the part that charges everything and makes the actual power test out. So the pickup coil is a little on the high side of the spec, but I kind of think that maybe it's okay. So I'm going to put the stator cover back on. I put a new plug in, and we're going to try it with just a new plug. Probably should have done that first, but the plug looked good. It didn't look fouled at all, but we'll try this. And then after that, we're going to have to see what else is going on. Time to look a little further. All right, so we've tested the stator. We've put a new spark plug in it. I've kind of like gone over most things that are like the normal cause of these problems. And I tried a new condenser actually because I happen to have one. It's for a KTM, but it's the same part, just different plug. So anyway, I jerry-rigged that thing up, tried it, and I kicked it with my hand, and I got it to spark. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe it's a condenser. I went ahead, I plugged the old one back in, I kicked it really hard, and it sparked then too. So I think I just wasn't maybe rotating it fast enough to get it to spark with my hand. So that leaves the question, why wasn't it starting? So I came up with another idea, and I'm going to show you what I did here, and we'll see if we can get this thing to start. So I've seen a lot of fuel pump problems in the past, but I haven't really seen many with KXs that haven't had that many problems. So I really wasn't expecting that out of this bike. It just didn't seem like that would be the problem. I mean, it's rough and all that, but I don't know. I just kind of didn't think. But after checking all the electronics, and I unplugged the kill switch, I did, you know, everything, right? And all the stuff checked out. So I thought, well, okay. And then, like I said, when I finally got to spark, when I moved the kicker fast enough, it's like, okay, well, maybe that's not the problem. I just wasn't getting it going fast enough. So maybe there's something else. So I am going to now try spraying a little bit of brake cleaner just in the air box and see if this thing starts. Now, you'll know that it's idling right now. So I think, well, the fuel pump must be working. I didn't spray enough brake cleaner for it to run this long, but let's see if it'll take throttle. That was actually one of the big complaints. No throttle. So I think that the fuel pump is making just enough pressure that it'll run with some brake cleaner to kind of get it going, and it'll sit there and idle. But as soon as you give it gas, it dies. And like I said, I've checked everything else. I checked the compression with my foot, and then I also checked the valve. Sorry I didn't show you that. I'll do that in another video. I honestly got frustrated with this thing, and I quit videoing because I just needed to figure it out. I think we got her dialed. I'm 99.99999% sure it's a fuel pump. I'm going to go ahead and pull it out and look at it, but this will be the end of this video. If something changes, I'll come back with another video, but there you go. Sometimes you get a little bit of a problem child, and this is one of them. But I think we got her dialed. Got it figured out. Going to get a fuel pump for it and put her back together, and it should be ready to rip. Guys, have a great day. Get out, spread the gospel of two wheels, and please, 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 please find some time to ride your dirt bikes.